Hello and welcome to another episode of the Essex League Cricket Podcast with myself, Billy Roan, Alfie Taylor, Nick Brown. Boys, how are we?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Bill. Another week in the gulag. They're all rolling into one now, aren't they? But yeah, spirits are high. We're close to the cricket season and just looking forward to it now. Brownie, how you doing?
Good, thanks, Alf. Yeah, getting there. Back in training, so that's been good fun. All going well.
And you, Bill?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Bit tired and that. It's been a hard week.
Fucking look it, mate.
As you can see from my hairline. My Barry Evans hairline, mate.
Where is it?
Where is it? Behind me.
You need a mirror on the back of the wall.
It's behind me. Remember that Arsenal player, Gervinho? I do. I'll bring it from here and put it forward. These headphones are brilliant, mate. They're saving me.
Have you been doing the early mornings, Bill?
Of course, mate. You've got to do your duties, haven't you?
Yeah,
you've got to do your duties and that. It'll get to you boys soon. Eh?
So we've got a few years yet, Bill.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I forget I'm like 20 years older than you boys. But listen, lads, we've got another guest on. We've raided the Essex team again. We've got young Sam Cook on the show. How we doing, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks for having me on, boys. Been a big fan listening the last few weeks. So, yeah.
Good man. Good man. Sam, I'm just going to read out a few of your stats. I do like a stat. Yeah. I couldn't believe this when I read this. 34 matches, 104 wickets, 7 5-wicket hauls, an average of 23.6. Happy with them numbers?
Taking that at the start, yeah, to be fair. It's going right.
But I'll tell you what I'm more interested in, mate. Right? Again, 34 matches, 140 runs, yeah, an average of 7, 13 fours and 2 sixes. Who the fuck have you hit for 6 in your first class career?
he loves one of these as well because it's a pull shot. He loves one of them.
It went
reel us off.
Well, the write-up in the Essex end of season review book was a towering blow out of Headingley. I think it cleared the 40-metre boundary by about 2 yards.
Who was it off, Sammy?
One was Ben Codes, I believe. He dropped it short and
quick bowler as well. Quick bowler.
And the other was is that O'Riordan, his name, Brown? The lad from Kent, off spinner.
Yeah. Well, he's probably fucking retired now anyway. He's going to find that ball.
He got sacked.
What was that shot, Sam? So one was a pull shot. What was the other one? Top edge?
Yes, slog sweep.
What the seamer?
Slog sweep, yeah. Miles, mate.
Have some of that.
You got it on YouTube, Sam?
I'll be there somewhere, mate. I've got it.
He knows the
I've got it saved on my home reel somewhere.
On Pornhub, innit?
Mate,
right, Sam, I'll just let you in on the drill. And that, like you said, I'm sure you've listened to a few interviews. We're just going to fire away a few questions. Nothing challenging, mate. Don't expect anything serious. But yeah, Alfie's going to fire over a few questions. Alf, do you want to get going, mate?
Yeah, just before we start, though, I think Sam's taking the piss here. He's worn a hat, right? You boys are obviously struggling a little bit. And he's got a full lid of hair and he's wearing a hat. Is that not a piss?
Well, listen, mate, if I had your lighting, mate, yeah, I can barely see you. I need to change my lighting here. Get the spotlights out.
Can't afford it, mate. Low value bulb. Sammy, let's get started. Club cricket, right? That's where we're going to start it. Growing up playing club cricket at the windiest place on this fucking planet, I'm sure we've all got a few stories about this place. But what was it like as a youngster kicking uphill into wind at Chelmsford?
Yeah, it's quite a weird story because I started off at Writtle beforehand and kind of didn't get the whole sort of pleasure of playing at Chelmer Park for 5 years before. But I luckily didn't have to do too much up the hill. So I was quite lucky when I first came in. I think Beardy was injured at the time and they were struggling for an opening bowler. So I got to roll down the hill. But it's one of those grounds when it's hot, it's all right. But when it's cold there, you can't get out of it. And I'm a bit surprised how many people we talk to hate Chelmer Park more than anywhere. But yeah, it's not somewhere you want to be stuck, not under the trees.
Has it ever been sunny there, mate? Boy, have you ever played there when it's sunny?
40 degrees and cold.
It literally is.
I was going to say
And wet.
it's probably it's one of those places that you could have had the best week in the world. You could have had a chop every single day of the week. You could have won the lottery. If you're playing at Chelmer Park on the weekend, like it sucks the energy out of you. Like it could be 40 degrees the whole week. You get there, it's fucking wet. I've never scored a run. Like it. The only thing that's good about it are the blokes are all right. But other than that,
We'll take that.
Brownie, you played there.
Yeah, I've played there loads. Always cold. You need a jumper.
Yeah,
They have the old school sun deckers, don't they? Where you can sit and watch.
Yeah, I've broken a few of them in my time.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Brownie, you've been run out of first slip. My first slip at Chelmer Park.
Dude, I didn't think it was going to be long. No, I haven't.
Sammy,
Just quickly, we have had a good game there. We won the league there.
yeah, but even that one, forget about
Put a
it.
dampener on it. It put a dampener on it, didn't it?
If you put a photo and the photo's online somewhere, no one looks happy.
It's great. It's great. It's like your lighting in your camera shop, mate. It's fucking grim.
It's honestly like you can just tell by the photo. No one wanted to be there. We wanted to get out. It's probably taken on some shit camera, like some Kodak thing. Yeah, it's just an appalling place to play cricket. But
Yeah.
Sam obviously enjoys it because
I love it,
it's always a wet one. He's always going to take poles. It's the dodgiest wicket.
Probably wouldn't have made it without Chelmer Park, to be fair. Like 50 bucks.
Sam, do you remember a bowler called Eddie Lawrence?
I remember Eddie. Yeah, he's still knocking about.
He's not playing still, is he?
No. He's chairman or president or something now. He's still knocking about down there. Yeah.
Was he the one that
they out for fun?
Is he the one that they used to water the wicket the night before for?
Yeah, to be fair, he didn't need much help, to be honest. He was a mean bowler.
If he's bowling at you, he probably didn't need much help, did he?
No, he didn't know, mate. No.
Sam, who was that fellow that used to get me out?
Good bowler.
His last name begin with an R. Rossi? Rossi?
No,
What's his
Drainey.
name? Drainey used to get me out all the time.
Yeah.
What's he bowl, Brownie?
The worst thing was that Chelmsford lads used to say to me, God, Drainey, you've got him on toast, always get him out. I mean, actually, he did. He always used to get me out. The fucker. He did always mop me up.
He's got the knack of getting good players out. He used to get Kish out all the time, and he'd always get the big dogs out, Drainey. He just had a knack of getting one early, didn't he?
There you
He
go.
might have got me out a few times, actually, as well. Picked me off. Got me out stumped a couple times.
He used to bowl 50-mile-an-hour seamers, throw it into the wind, and it will swing about 4 foot.
Hey, you
Yeah,
had
I
one of
remember.
those as well. You got one of those at your club, Brownie.
Yeah, we did.
He's still playing. He's 103 and he's still taking 80 poles a season. He's ended a few careers. Sam, but before we move on, where I can't see you as much of a sledger, but are you a sledger at club cricket level?
Not now, no. I think when you're young and first coming into it, you see it on TV, think it's the done thing to do. But now I wouldn't say boo to a goose on the field, really. To be honest, I realised I was pretty shit at sledging and I wasn't particularly witty, so I just tend to keep my mouth shut now. And if an opportunity presents itself and there's a decent sledge, you might say it. But yeah, I've tended to sort of bite my tongue a bit now. When I was younger, though, you tell everyone that they're shit, don't you? And you think you're the best bowler in the world, so you give it massive to all these batters. But yeah, nowadays I tend to keep a bit quieter now.
I still do it now, mate. Not when I was young. I still do it now. I don't even play no more. Just on the sidelines, mate.
I was going to say, you could probably have a word with Portseng because when you're talking about wit and being a pro, he still comes back and will spray a fucking 12-year-old. And won't have much wit around it.
In the nets, he had a go. I had to face him in the nets today and he was charging it. And I thought I bowled to him, lobbed up a few half volleys and let him get a couple away. He come charging in, giving it massive again today. So
Well,
bowlers use him.
You know why that is? You took his batting spot, didn't you?
Well, still a touchy subject, that. Still a bit raw, I think.
Well,
Are you the new night watchman?
But he's still quite good at that, isn't he, Brown? He's quite good at just sort of patting it back and getting a bit on it.
Yeah, he don't get any runs, does he? But
The problem, yeah. the next day, isn't it? You could sub one in the next day.
Yeah, that would be all right. The one thing with Sammy is that you get bowlers that beat the bat a lot and will get instantly furious. Sammy takes ages to get pissed off. And then when he does, it just turns to like, oh, mate, you're just so shit. And he turns to like a grumpy, like, oh, you're just so shit, you are. Not like an angry man at all. Just the nicest guy in the world. Yeah.
What, Sam, what gears are you using at the moment? Are you sponsored by? Billy loves a bit of kit, so.
Yeah. Quite lucky that probably the best part about my batting is my actual bats. Yeah, still with GM, I've been with GM since I was pretty young now. And I think, to be honest, they've just forgotten about me because they just keep renewing me every year. So it's quite handy. But no, the bats are top drawer. And yeah, I think they'd probably go a long way as to why I've managed 2 6s in my career. 90% of it would probably be down to those bats, to be fair. But yeah, nice gears.
Cheeky little bowling as well, yeah.
Bowling boots.
Bowling boots back. I've flirted around with a few different ones recently. Bit of Adidas, bit of New Balance, but yeah, I got some Asics ones made up in Australia last year that I used a bit last season. But I'm back on the new Adidas ones this year. I think they're the best, really, all round. Flirted a bit with New Balance, but yeah, back at Adidas.
Have you got a deal with them? They send them to you, do they?
No.
Joe, you got to pay for them.
Buy my own boots.
Fucking hell.
Yeah,
who's your agent?
I know, well.
Fucking hell, sack him. Fucking buying your own bowling boots. Sack him.
Yeah.
Brownie even gets bowling boots, doesn't he?
Yeah, Brownie's got a set.
There's great equals ones, to be fair. If I need them, they're good spikes, aren't they, Brown?
Yeah, he's wearing them on June 23rd, mate, and his first night out with jeans. Boot cut jeans. Got some box fresh bowling boots, mate, with the fucking Levi's. 501s.
Sam, when you said you still been with Gunnar Moore since you were a kid, does that mean you still paid the 30%? You know, like kids used to get, oh yeah, I'm sponsored, but you have to pay 30%.
Pay 30%. What was it? You get 1 free of everything a year, and then everything after that's like 30%. But that was where I was scrounging around at uni. I was still on that, and then you take a few polls, and they're like, oh, they'd get you in and look after you after that. But up to that point, yeah, you still had to. I think I got free stuff. I'm trying to think when it was. Probably from about the academy, they start giving you fully free stuff, but it's only 1 free of everything a year. But I didn't need much more than 1 bat, 1 pads, 1 gloves, really, to be fair.
Yeah, well.
How many bats you rocking now? How many you got in the coffin?
3 at the minute. Don't really need much more than that, to be fair.
Brownie ain't got 3. How many you got, Brownie, on the go?
I got a few there.
Are you one to repair a bat, Brownie? Are you one to like?
Do you know what? Now I've got Chef and he's back a lot. He actually passes me bats and says, "Have a go on this. If it's any good, I'll have it back. If it's shit, you keep it."
You're an honest man, so.
Well, so I give him the shit ones back and go, "Yeah, these are quite good. These are."
Have you had your fresh batch of stuff in yet, Brownie? Grey Nicks?
I haven't yet, but all the other boys seem to have got this.
You're only 2 weeks away.
So I'm a bit concerned at the moment.
Sam, you got yours?
I got my bats through, yeah. Got them through.
Oh, God.
Brownie, I can tell you, I'm going to represent you as well, Brownie. He can't get any bowling boots. You can't get any fucking bats. Opening bowler, opening batsman. Fucking hell.
Yeah, that's not good.
That actually sums for Essex up as a club, doesn't it? Just a fucking mismatch. But still going to win the title this year.
What about the kit, the Essex kit? Is that come through?
No, that's
no?
another.
All right, no, I use next year's.
Blaming it on Brexit. I think there's a couple. No, we have got it in. We just haven't. We've got a game next week, warm-up game. I think we're supposedly getting it in for that. We hope. Otherwise, God knows what we're going to wear.
What's that? A little winter club game?
No, we've got Lancs, haven't we? In a two day warm-up games. Yeah.
What's the weather like next week?
Well,
snowing.
2 degrees this weekend.
Sam's gonna be sliding around. He ain't got any bowling boots, and fucking Brownie's gonna be in Sam's bag looking for a stick.
Brownie's gonna be away.
Sam, picture this. Maybe it's happened. It might not have. You're opening the bowling in club cricket. You bowl the first ball. Batsman turns round to the shed and just signals for the floppy for the cap. What's your instinct? Has it happened? It doesn't have to be first ball of the game. Has it happened? And what's your first sort of initial thought when that happens?
I've not had it mid-game, someone taking it off, but I've had a few walk out with the cap on. Actually, a mate of mine from school that walked out with the cap on. And I touched on a bit, I'm not really the angriest fast bowler, so I'm sure Ports or others would probably go for the skull at that point, but I'm too nice to do that, and probably in hindsight should do it more. But yeah, I've had it a few times. We've all had it. I remember some 70-year-old bloke in a club game when I was real young walked out in a cap, and I tried to tell him, like, mate, you're going to need a lid, going to need this. Straight off the end of the nose, first ball, pulled one bounce 4. So I look like a complete tip. But yeah, it's everyone's choice, isn't it? You can walk out in a flop if you want. I don't think I'm really going to trouble you for pace, so why not?
Well, Bill, what about you? If you're a quick bowler, what would be your reaction?
Well, if I was quick, I'd bowl bounces every ball, so he'd get the same delivery as he would if he was wearing a helmet, mate. If you're a quick bowler, I would just want to bowl bounces all the time. You know what I mean?
Are we saying Sam's quick then? Are we?
Bill, are you implying Sam's quick?
I can't remember. I must have seen you live, Sam. But well, he's averaging 23 a wicket. He's doing something, right?
I think he's a genius, but I don't think he's quick.
You bounced anyone out lately, Sam? Last year, bounced anyone out?
He has. I remember watching it.
Last year, wasn't it? Got a few down the hill last year. Couple of bumpers here and there, but yeah, you still got to bowl him, haven't you?
It's always good to see. He's going to bowl some to me tomorrow now, isn't he?
Oh, wait.
Well, he's got a good chance of hitting you, mate. If you ain't got any fucking bats.
Sam, so in the Essex side, you've obviously worked your way up to number 10 in the batting lineup. This is a legit question now. You go back and play for Chelmsford on a Saturday in a league game this year, full strength side. Where do you actually think that you should be batting in that side? And
well, we've had this conversation a lot, myself and Stel. So I've been back a couple of times once last year, once the year before. I think I batted 6 both times that I've been back. I got 70 odd in the first game, and then 0 off 3 last year. So who knows? It's not much sample to take, but I reckon
I'll take averaging 70.
Chelmsford, decent batting. I'd probably say 6 or 7 is probably the right spot, I'd say.
Brownie, what do you reckon? Do you think that's fair?
Well, I was surprised with the 70 odd. It's unbelievable.
Hang on, who was that against?
Mate, I genuinely couldn't tell you. It was last game of the season, though. No one really gave a fuck, did they?
It's got to be Sunday Seas or something. It couldn't have been.
Was it at Chelmsford Park?
At Chelmsford Park.
Fucking hell, that's worth 140, mate.
That's definitely. Was that second innings? No, first innings. It's always wet.
First innings. Yeah.
Well, that's
isn't it?
To be fair, Paul came back and opened the batting for Chingford once and got 80 odd. So I don't think. I don't know what to say about that, to be honest. Sam, who's the best batsman you've bowled against in club cricket that isn't a pro? Brownie asked this question.
Good question. Very good question. I don't want to blow your own trumpet out, but you'd probably have to be up there yourself, having met me over the trees a couple of times at Chingford.
No.
And
it's all boundary, mate.
I don't know the guy's name, but that same game played a couple of years ago. I'm trying to think what team it was. It must have been. I'm trying to think who it was. Big guy though. He hit me for the biggest 6 still to this day professional cricket I've ever been hit for. Like at Chelmsford Park. Nearly ended up back in Gallywood, but he gave it a whack. But no, a few of the Brentwood lads are pretty decent, aren't they? But most of them have given it a go. I think around most have been signed at one point or another. But yeah, I don't want to blow your own trumpet out, but I'd say you probably have to be up there.
just stop there, mate. Thank you very much for that. Brownie, who's the best bowler you faced in club cricket? Because that'd be quite interesting. I suppose it don't matter because those wickets that you play on are fucking dreadful.
It's a good question. Like batters wise, I was thinking for Sammy then. People like Johnny Walford was obviously a great player when I was younger playing, and John Chambers at Wanstead just scored runs every week.
Ended his career.
He ended his career. So like, they were two for me. Bowlers wise,
it's always a fucking spinner. Right, it's different for you.
Spinners.
Left arm.
Hold on, Brownie. What about Richard Alston, the legend? I know he listens to this actually.
Yeah, Rich was a good player. He's a little bit more before my time, to be honest. But I've played against Rich. I've played with Rich actually for the Chinghoppers. But he was a nice player, wasn't he?
Well, I don't have nice players, but he's a savager, mate.
He was a butcher.
He's a standard fielder. Is it long off and long off or out straight away?
Yeah.
First, he opens the batting.
Yeah.
He got 4 slips and a long on and long off.
Didn't he get run out from long off?
He got run out as well. Quick single down the ground, he got run out.
I can see Brownie when he's sort of 60 odd years old playing at South Woodford, knocking one to long on and getting run out after. Sammy, when you do go back and play for Chelmsford, which I don't know how much you've played in the last couple of years, and I'm sure you won't be playing that much this year. Do you have any requirements when you go back and play club cricket, like first slip? Obviously you have to have a batting spot because you've spoken about this already. Being picked up from your house, that sort of stuff. Like, do you have any actual requirements, or are you going to be called out for them even if you say no, you don't?
No, I think the batting spot's the main sort of negotiation in the week, in the run up to me turning out for Chelmsford. So a few phone calls to Stirl, work out whether it's worth turning out or not. But in terms of the other bits, no, I'm not too fussy really. Pay my £5, turn up and enjoy a day with the lads, to be fair.
That was actually going to be one of my questions. Do you pay match fees?
Got to pay match fees, haven't you? Got to
pay
match.
Either. What?
That's fucking my era, mate. That's my era.
Gone up a bit recently. Been a while.
Brownie, do you have any requirement? I suppose you've got to bowl your 10 overs, haven't you?
Yeah. No, I've got no requirements. As long as I don't have to turn up and warm up. That's it. Warming up is the end of my life. I just can't warm up anymore. I do it enough in the week, and that's painful enough. So as long as I don't have to turn up 2 hours before and run around cones, I don't mind playing a bit of football or something, but I just need to turn up 15 minutes before I have a coffee and then go out and play.
How do you boys go with the football? What you two in particular? Any good? Yeah, would you say you're in the top sort of 20% of the team?
Yeah, I am.
Oh yeah.
Modesty. Sam?
Cool. Well, yeah, you got to back yourself, haven't you? Brown, you went a bit quiet on the goals. We're pretty similar players, aren't we, Brown? You play up top for the oldies, I'll play up top for the youngies. So it's a bit of a striker off. You went a bit quiet for a while on the goal front, didn't you, Brown? There's a bit of doubt around your goal scoring form.
Didn't get the service, did you, Brownie?
No service.
I was going to say, who do you liken yourself to, Brownie?
Mark Viduka.
Mark Viduka, mate. Yeah, blast from the past, mate.
Yeah.
Sam?
Get me on it.
A hold-up man, Christian Benteke sort of hold-up man.
So a couple of goals, barely break the 10-goal barrier
the
season.
Yeah.
But puts in a good shift.
Yeah, good bloke.
That's it.
Sammy, so Chelmsford win, like, actually you won the league, didn't you, recently? But let's picture this. It's a nice sunny day. Chelmsford, you won quite early, game's over. What's your ideal start to a night out and a night out in and around Chelmsford? So you got your whites on, you're obviously having a few tinnies with the boys, talking everyone through your 80 odd or whatever you got. Again, I don't know, like ill for that. Yeah. Well, what is it like? Beers on the outfield, shower, garms, like, and then kick on from there.
Yeah, you got a few beers on the outfield to start. If it's a sunny day at Chelmer Park, once in a blue moon, yeah, a few beers
Get your
on the
coat on.
I was going to say, put a blanket down, otherwise you get wet arse.
Yeah, a few beers on the outfield. Shower. You don't want to rush into the shower. Shower is such an important part of the process. You don't want to rush into it too quickly. So a bit of a shower.
Make and break the night.
Couple of beers in the shower, a bit of a chat, few tunes in the changing room, and then the bar.
Sam, what about Garms? What about Freds? What are the Chelmsford boys rocking? Are they proper Essex boys? Are they fucking mankles out? Fucking
box, mate. To be fair, it's classic shirt and jeans, white shirt and jeans for most of the lads. Beardy will probably have his ankles out. Stirls might be having a slightly rogue shirt on. One of the Clifford brothers might be wearing something stupid. Waring will probably have a terrible shirt on, but no, nothing too sort of over the top. Chelmsford lads, they're pretty straight down the line. Nothing crazy.
Any hair dryers in the changing room?
Yeah, with thick hair like this, you need a hairdryer really. So myself and Beardy would probably
not a Chelmer Park, you don't, mate. It's fucking.
Yeah. me and Alf used to have the blow dry bar.
Is that what?
Down the kitchen. That was before 9 o'clock. After that, it turned into something else. Me and Alf used to go in the kitchen, knock out a couple of blow dries.
I love for you to knock it there, Bill.
Sam, where's good in Chelmsford these days? So like me, I don't know. Me and Alf had a few good nights out in Chelmsford. We used to start off at Masula or Masuna Lounge, go into Yates's for a few, and then end up in Chicago's. What's a night out? Or Duke's.
The Cave.
Duke's in Chicago's.
Went at the Cave.
Early doors would go in the Cave actually, just for a little loosener.
It's changed a lot.
7:30 open.
Even since I started going out, it's changed a lot. Chelmsford, like a lot of Missoula was probably the first night out I ever had was in Missoula. That shut down. Obviously Chicago's Duke's all shut down now, but you'd probably start off. Yeah, all gone. So you'd start off maybe be at one's not a bad spot now for a couple to start, and then Courtyard's quite a good venue now. Actually, it's a little sort of does what it says on the tin. It's a courtyard little bar. It's got quite a nice start to the night, and then
there's a hotel actually, Sam. Is the hotel still there? It's Saracens Hotel or Regent Hotel, I think it's called.
It's changed again. That was not bad start to the night. I feel like Chelmsford's got a lot of that. It's got a lot of good spots to start the night, but then it sort of struggles a little bit for somewhere open late at times. But that's changed its name. Saracen's Head was a good spot. But yeah,
is the Cave still there?
I wouldn't know, mate.
I remember once. Go on, Bill. I don't know that the Cave. It's obviously it's a strip establishment, and they were refurbing it once. So what they did, they had porta cabins at the back, so they couldn't use the main bar. We're in the porta cabins.
I love how Brownie's sitting there quietly. Nah, never been to this.
Never been.
What about Popwell? Popwell's pretty good, isn't it?
How could I forget? That's probably the one shining light at Chelmsford.
That's brilliant.
We actually managed to get it after when we won the league in 2019. After the end of season due, the club somehow rented out the whole top of Popwell. It's probably one of the best nights out I've ever had in there. That is probably the one shining light at Chelmsford nowadays, I'd say. Yeah.
You wouldn't have been there, Bill. You get nicked.
No, never heard of Popwell. That's a program that Makita Oliver and Simon Ansell used to present.
Two names.
And I was probably about your ages, actually.
Brownie, what about you? You've got to be a Bar and Beyond Popwell man, haven't you?
Yeah, Popwell's good. So the old Chicago's is now Bar and Beyond. Good venue. Yeah.
It gets fucking busy, doesn't it?
I'm getting old now, Alf. It's more of just a pub now.
Have you got your local Brownie? Have you got a tankard behind the bar?
I haven't.
Brownie just looks like he should have a tank, like with all of his like
And a
hundreds,
chair.
all of his hundreds like etched into the side of it, engraved into the side.
And a fucking bar stool as well. I can't see there, mate. It's Brownie's chair. Brownie.
Brownie with his coins lined up either
That's
side.
it.
Next
He's
to
more than coins.
Right, Sam, before we move on, if there's one thing that you've taken from club cricket that stood you in good stead to play professional cricket, what would it be?
Oh, that's a tough question. Yeah, generally, like, don't want to think too technical. Just try to be a good bloke. I think if you're a decent guy on and off the field, it actually goes a long way, not just with your ability. So whatever level you're at, whether it's Chelmsford first team, Chelmsford fifth team, or playing for Essex, if you're a good bloke around the dressing room and you get stuck in socially off the field, then you're going to go a long way, whatever you're playing in. So just enjoy it, really. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but it's why we play the game, isn't it? Really, to have a laugh and enjoy it. So
that's why you never made it, Bill. Then.
Oh yeah, good point. I'm nodding away, but I thought I don't enjoy playing cricket. So
and you're a massive cunt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm a nasty bastard as well, miserable bastard.
Right, before we move on again, actually, we've got a story that has sort of come up a few times on this podcast, and it's to do with Phil. And it's the slide tackle story, which, Bill, I'm sure you can run us through again because you've done it so many times.
Okay, I think everyone can recite this story, but Sam, actually, his club, Chelmsford, is the club that Phil committed this offence at. It was at Chelmer Park. It was wet, hence the slide tackle. But basically, Phil opening the bowling, steaming in, batsman on strike, has just dropped it onto the leg side. The non-striking batsman set off for the single. Phil was obviously running to his path. He has done the naughtiest slide tackle. Like, I'm telling you, it would straight red in a football match. And Geezer's gone flying over him. Phil's crawled over, picked the ball up, and he's held down the stumps. It's the first time he's ever hit the stumps, and he's appealed, genuinely appealed by the Geezers on the floor. Yeah. So when Sam was coming on, Alf, we obviously we sent him a message, said, "Can you get in contact with this fella?" And he's done you a little response. Any Sam?
Yeah, I've reached out to Thrifty.
What's his recollection of the events?
I mean, the size of the message, I can give you a pretty detailed one because it doesn't sound like he's forgotten it after 11 years or whatever it was. I reached out to Thrifty and he replied with, "Blimey, haha, memory is a bit sketchy of that, only that the bloke was a bit of an embarrassment to his teammates. I think he was getting very annoyed at the quick singles I was taking and decided to stop me in any way he could. He was bowling right on over and I was the non-striker, went to take a quick single, and in his follow-through, he veered across and rugby tackled me across the wicket. He possibly, or maybe someone else, can't recall, picked the ball up and threw it at the stumps and claimed to be run out. With me lying flat on the pitch, in the middle of the pitch, pads hanging off. What the fuck happened there? Billy Roan, the wicketkeeper, I think his name was, rescinded the appeal. Not sure if that helps, but have fun on the podcast."
I don't know if I did rescind the appeal.
You've come across right there, Bill.
Bill, you've done that was you.
Fucking hell, that is you might have got that wrong, actually. But no, you know what? Obviously, I did have to rescind it. I had to argue with Phil because he was still adamant he was out. But fair play to was his name Thrifty?
Thrifty, yeah, he's one of the nicest blokes you'll ever meet in the entire world. Wouldn't ever hurt a fly. So I've obviously heard the story on the pod before, so I'm trying to work out who it was. I kind of couldn't think it would be Thrifty, but it's good to hear his side.
Oh, brilliant! We'll have to get both of them on. We'll get Phil on. So Phil's a little bit busy at the moment. He's got a lot of stuff going on and that, but we'll have to get him on, and we'll have to try and
recreate the quick thing.
Yeah, we could do. We could do
that. Yeah.
Yeah, we could do. Have a Chelmer Park and recreate that moment.
Too windy, mate. Let's move on to county cricket then, Sam, because we've touched on a bit of club cricket. We've spoken about this with a few of the Essex boys, but is there any other county that their kit that you're jealous of? Because Essex have always had a proper shit kit, or at least what do you think, Bill?
Yeah, it's awful. I mean, Stuart Surridge, mate. How the fuck are you still getting sponsored by them? They're still in business. Fucking all the nice brands you got, like even Gunnar Moore, like get a bit of Gunnar Moore action, or you got like fucking the Knots kits, nice Adidas, Nike, fucking Stuart Surridge.
Any you're jealous of, Sam? Any kits, or you and Brownie actually? Brownie might be the best one to ask on this.
yeah, a connoisseur.
Yeah, I don't really care, Alf. Middlesex have good kit. They're sponsored by Nike.
They're
I
Nike,
think.
yeah.
They've just been theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
yeah, Brownie's endorsed their kit, so I can get rid of it. Scrap it. That's it.
Yeah, like you touched on there, Middlesex, good kit. Hampshire, Knots, the Adidas kit's been pretty nice. I think the main thing was these big coats that they seem to have to travel in, that we were all a bit jealous of, especially like say, feels like Chelmer Park half the time, rocking up in April, having to play down at these grounds where it's absolutely freezing. All the other teams have got these big sort of Arsene Wenger coats, but luckily, believe it or not, Stuart Surridge have come out with our own ones now, Brown, haven't they? So we've got these nice fancy travel coats. So that they have up their game in recent years, I would say. I don't want to fight. Don't want to be too.
Anything else, Danny Bill?
But
I was going to say, Brandy's going to add that to the big night out on June the 23rd. He's got his bowling boots that he's ordered, and he's got his Essex coat that he's going to wear out first night out.
Right.
You know what we forgot to do at the start of the show, or did we do it? Does the people have props? I thought we were going to have a prop off. You got one, Sam?
Nah, mate.
Well, I was a bit thrown under the pump here, so I wasn't really sure what to do. So obviously the theme of the Essex League Cricketer podcast, I brought my 80s retro Chelsea club.
Oh,
mate,
that
that's
is
proper.
brilliant. That is proper.
That's got June the 23rd.
I've wanted for a long time and got one last game of the season this year. It's still got a little bit of kebab sauce on it.
Love that.
Yeah, that's my
That's
my
good.
Brilliant. Brownie,
Proper, mate, that
you
is.
didn't bring one, Brownie, did you?
I didn't really, but to be honest, I didn't know what to get. So actually, in my front room, and I don't think anyone knows I've got this, but I've got the ball from when we won the league in 2017 at Edgbaston, signed by everyone. But I didn't really want to tell anyone because I thought like the club might nick it back or like have to go into a museum. But I didn't know what to do. So that's the official ball that we won the league in, signed by everyone.
How did you manage to get that then? You take the
Well-
last match or something?
No, I think someone got bowled and then it just rolled out and I've slid it straight into my pocket and run off.
That's it.
And so I got away with that one, yeah.
Phil, you had one signed, didn't you? Back in the day?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, I took a hat trick once and I signed it and put it behind the bar.
And then didn't you come back 4 or 5 years later and we were having throwdowns with it?
Yeah, I come back and watch, and then someone was having fucking few TDs with it. There's a fucking bit of history there. It was a first team hat trick.
Fuck off.
We're playing against Edmonton on October the 15th. Edmonton's first team. They had one team out, so it was their first team.
Chelmer Park in July, mate. I'm telling you.
And I cleaned 2 of them up and caught them bowled one. Fuck off. That's someone else.
What were you bowling, Bill? Tweakers?
A bit of everything really. I've done the first geezer with a little Sam be impressed with this. Just a little one nip back through the gate, and then the next joker come out. I've done him with the old knuckleball, bowled a knuckleball, and then obviously hat-trick ball and that. Sam, you'd know bowling. You just want to go quick, full and straight. So I yorked him. Darren Goff.
I actually, I was keeping Bill. That shows the standard of that game.
No. I don't think you were. We had our first team keeper. I don't know who it was at the time, but yeah, you were. I think you were at full slip out.
Have you ever taken a hat trick, Sam?
It's the one thing that I still, in any cricket, haven't managed to do. I think I've got
them, mate.
You scored a ton.
Yeah, I've got 100 in like say Riddle Sunday 11 B under 13 Division 7.
Good standard.
But yeah, I'd like to get a hat trick one day, Bill. Maybe we'll go
You'll
down.
get there, mate. Yeah, you'll get there, mate. I'll, just whenever set up your phone and that when you're in the outdoor net next week, and I'll give you a few tips, mate. Just keep paying your dues, mate. Keep working hard. You'll get there.
What about
You'll
the
get there, mate.
full bill then? You go full and straight, do you?
Depends who it was, yeah, but depends who it was. But the pitch was a bit slow, so I took the pitch out of the equation.
Sammy,
I put deep square out. Standing with a double bluff, didn't I?
Sam, who's the best batsman you've bowled against in professional cricket?
In obviously, in my opinion, it'd be obviously the likes of Cookie in the nets. But in terms of someone from the opposition, Hashim Amla was. I've never bowled to anyone with that much time. Obviously, we touched on not the quickest bowler in the entire world, but it felt like he had 5 seconds with the ball going down. He had so much time, so much more time than any other batter I've bowled to. He just made me feel like 40-mile-an-hour bowler. That was hard work. A few other like the county guys as around. I think Adam Lives a pretty good player. Slides under the radar a lot. He's been good. Gary Balance has been good in terms of the guys that probably aren't international regulars. But I'd have to say, yeah, Amla definitely stands out as by far the best.
He's at Surrey this year, isn't he? Again, Amla.
I think I'm not 100% sure. Brown one.
You'll know more about the county circuit than them, Bill. You're
probably, yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, is there? I suppose he's just one of those players that you stand at the top of the mark and think, "How the fuck am I going to get this geezer out?"
Exactly that, mate. He's so strong off his. He shows you. You think you can hit him on the shin because he just stands in front of his stumps, and if you get slightly straight, he'll whip you away, and then can't beat him on the outside because he'll just cut you away for 4. He's just one of these guys you just feel like, where on earth do I bowl to this fella?
When was the last time you were like starstruck on a cricket pitch? Same goes for you, Brownie. Probably a while ago now, but yeah. Do you ever get starstruck?
Well, go on, Glenn.
No, go on, Brian, you go, mate.
For me, like my hero was Marcus Trescothick. Growing up, I used to love watching Trez bat and always got GM bats and opening the bat in with like no feet and just like check driving it down the ground. I thought that's wicked. So playing against Trez is my big one. And I've actually got a signed photo of Trez in my spot at the ground that he signed for me.
Did that roll to your first slip after the last game of last season or 2 seasons ago as well?
Yeah. So Trez for me.
Do you shed a little tear there, Brownie, when he retired?
Yeah, it was quite upsetting. Yeah, I actually gave him a hug because we were down there at Taunton, weren't we?
It's just what he wanted. He was retiring, they'd lost the league. Was Brown walking up to him, giving a big hug at the end.
He's got that picture in his front room.
I gave him a hug and I was like, I don't really know why I've done that.
2 openers embracing.
I felt
his living room. The iconic photo.
I felt a bit embarrassed, like walking onto the field. I went on Trez, like good career.
Similar to that Brett Lee and Andrew Flintoff moment for him, I reckon.
Yeah, same. Same social impact, same thing.
What about you, Sammy?
Yeah, I think similar to Brown, actually Trez was a big one, playing a bit of second team cricket to start with against, because he didn't used to, towards the end as I was coming in, he wasn't playing the T20, so I got to play against him a couple of times in sort of second team cricket. And growing up watching obviously the 05 Ashes, seeing someone like that, you're like, oh my God, I'm actually bowling to this guy. Same with the likes of like Ian Bell, bowling to him as well. Someone you've grown up watching the Ashes, Jonathan Trott, mainly sort of the ex-England guys that I've grown up watching in sort of my journey through cricket, and bowling to those guys, it is definitely still a little pinch yourself moment. But you've got to try and get over that quite quickly, and then actually work out how to try and get these guys out.
Did any of them, sorry Alf, just quickly, with you boys, Brownie and Sam, like did any of you, like these are your heroes, yeah? Like did any of them shatter your dreams? Like, because there's that famous story when Monty and Jimmy were blocking out for the draw, England had an Australian physio, yeah, who kept coming out to waste time, and Ricky Ponting was this physio's hero. And every time the last time the physio come out, he said, "What the fuck are you doing out here, you fat cunt?" Yeah, and that killed his dream. That was his hero, and he just fat cunted him off. Anything like that happened to you boys? Trotty, Trescothic, did he call you anything?
Oh no, I didn't get any from that from Trez.
No?
Trez has actually given me a little bit the way I've played spin before, padding up and stuff like that. He's like, "Come on, Brownie, you're not playing a shot there, are you?" Like, Trez,
Yeah,
I'm trying.
not,
I'm trying, mate. I'm just not very good.
spending too much time thinking about hugging me, mate. Not enough time in the net.
So Sammy, off of that, actually, who's your biggest scalp?
Or I'd probably have to say Root. The Root first ball would be the one for me that sticks in my mind. Yeah.
How'd you get him?
He was caught first slip, I think, when he caught Cook, bowled Cook first ball. That was I'll have that one up on my mantelpiece, I think, for a few years.
What about overseas player? You must have had have you got any decent overseas players out?
I got Amler out, but he was caught short flying leg in a one-day game. It was a bit of a burgle.
Take it, mate.
Got George Bailey with a nice one. That was one that I'll remember for a while. That was in my first fifer, so that's probably one that I'll remember for a while. But yeah,
what was your first wicket? First class.
First class was Rory Burns in a uni game. Short ball,
Like that.
long up, caught mid wicket after 4 days field against Surrey. Yeah,
Bumped him out.
Yeah, just did him with the quicker one, didn't I, Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam, you've been likened to the great Vernon Philander a couple of times on Twitter. Do you have any aspirations to play for England? I know that you spend a little bit of time with them in Australia. I remember that one day. It was at the Lions.
Yeah.
Do you see a pathway there? Do you have aspirations?
Well, obviously, I wouldn't even put myself in the same league as someone like Philander. Yeah, I think he's absolute genius. But seeing guys with similar style of bowling, like the likes of Philander, Mohammed Abbas, guys like these succeeding in international cricket, obviously desperate as anyone to play for England. I think sometimes you hear a little bit of talk like, "Oh, you've got to bowl 90 mile an hour to play international cricket." But seeing these guys doing it successfully obviously gives you a little bit more of a lift. And yeah, to have that bit of experience to play in Australia with the Lions squad definitely sort of spurred me on that much more. And I'd say that's probably my immediate goal, is to try and get back into that setup. But it's quite obviously you don't want to look too far ahead and just try and keep taking wickets for Essex, and then hopefully that'll come down the line. But obviously seeing our sort of likes of Dan obviously pushing into the England team this winter, and seeing guys that we're playing with pushing into the England team, it's only natural for you to want to go on and do that as well.
Well, what are they like with their contact with players that haven't played for England yet, or is there contact, or is it just only when you get the nods that you're in there? Sort of like, are you dropped from their visions quite quickly? I don't know. Is there like a pathway, or is there? I don't know. Is there a WhatsApp group? Is there? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think I got called up sort of as an injury replacement. I happened to be out in Melbourne. It was quite sort of not informal. James Taylor rang me up, asked me if I'd come down to training. Went down and said, "Oh, yeah, we'd like you to be part of the squad for the rest of the tour." Obviously, I was buzzing, and then the pandemic hit in, so I kind of don't really know what. I've not had any communication directly since then, but obviously there's been a lot going on since then in the world, and not played a lot of cricket since then. But I think it's a case of you've just got to prove yourself, and then when you're kind of on their radar, or if you're in line, that they sort of make contact. But until then, it's quite a good way. I think it just lets you just sort of concentrate on your own performance, and then if it comes, it comes. And
when you did get into that Lions, did you get a kit, or do you have to wear a Bintang singlet?
I've got my lounge around track set. Yeah, and I was happy as moment. I said to my mum when I got back, I said, if I never play, I'll still be happy because I've got the kit.
Do you go down the shop to them? Are you one of those?
No, I've been to the gym in it a couple of times, but I go out the door, and to be fair, my brother's laid into me like, you didn't even play. Like, why are you wearing? Like,
Brought
I was
back
fair
down
enough.
to earth.
What
yeah,
would
been-
what would you
like
do, like Brownie, with England kit? Would you be straight out? If you scored a ton for England at Lords, you'd be in your kit for the rest of the week.
My brothers definitely would be.
I know it would be. What about you? Would be Phil as well, wouldn't you? You'd sit at the back,
Nah.
man. Fuck off.
You'd have your name on the back still, wouldn't you?
Nah. Don't do all that with a kit, mate.
Oh, fuck off,
I
Bill.
wear it on a Saturday. That's it. That's it, mate.
Sam, I've got a few questions for you. 3 little questions. We're going to try and do some sort of like desert island disc type thing here with every guest that we have on now. So I'll just fire away. What are the 3 most essential tea items? You can have 1 savoury, 1 sweet, and a drink.
Great question. Are we talking like from your standard cricket tea, or
It depends it depends where you've had tea.
Yeah, they have to be a tea staple. You can't have like a Vindaloo or a Big Mac or something like that. It has to be like a tea staple.
Chelmer Park's afternoon tea isn't a great selection, so I've been a bit shielded.
I believe.
But I say savoury, you'd have to go for a gun sausage roll though, like proper
Sausage
gun,
in a roll or pastry or what?
proper sausage in a roll, bit of sauce. I think from a savoury, sweet, go classic Victoria sponge. Can't go wrong.
Brilliant. Fresh cream or buttercream?
Oh, you got hard on there. We don't need any cream. Oh, with it, mate.
Bit of vinegar in the sponge, maybe, if we're pushing the boat out, and then I'd go classic brew. Can't go wrong. Cup of tea.
Yeah, stop.
Tea, you gotta go.
The same question should go to you two as well. Actually, we ain't even discussed this. Brownie.
I'll have a scone.
Oh, brilliant, Brownie.
Yeah.
You're
Got
getting
the cream?
tomorrow in the nets, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll get sconed in the nets tomorrow, by Glenn. Yeah.
Clotted cream, raspberry jam, strawberry jam.
Yeah, the lot.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Savoury,
Yeah.
Brown.
You got to have tea as well. Savoury. Do you know what I'm partial to, Alf? Is a little samosa. You don't get them too much, but you just some ground you turn up and there's like a little samosa.
Love that. I hate you when they're overcooked though, but when they're like just
Yeah,
sweat,
like
just nice and
Yeah.
a good samosa if it's homemade, top monkey or top drawer. But if
Stop
not,
it, Brownie. Stop it.
You got hard on again, Bill.
Yeah.
And you drink there, Brownie?
and a tea.
It's standard. Can't go wrong with it.
Yeah.
Bill, come on.
Yeah,
I'm excited to hear what you got to say here.
I'm struggling. I'm a bit out of loop with tea at the moment because I've not had a cricket tea for a long time, actually. I would go with a nice sandwich, nice bit of granary breads, ham off the bone, bit of mustard in there, ham and mustard off the bone.
Are you going Coleman's or are you going French?
English mustard, mate. No, hey, you can't have Dijon mustard in a ham and mustard sandwich, mate. Come on.
I've never had ham off the bone at Chingford before.
Mate,
Where are you having your teas?
We don't.
Oh, listen, don't get me wrong, mate. The ham at Chingford, you can see through. I'm holding it up now, mate. See the ham at Chingford, mate. Yeah.
Are you playing for the
I'm just saying,
MCC?
we're doing our dream tea items, mate. I've never seen a fucking scone with clotted cream at South Woodford either, to be honest. Right, you're savoury. Do you know what? I love a Bakewell tart, but I don't want a fucking Mr. Kipling fucking sandpaper Bakewell tart. I want one of them, the big ones that you have a slice of, you know?
Ooh,
I want one of them. And then drink. I'm a coffee man, So if we can get a nice Sage coffee machine behind the bar, nice espresso, that'll do me. With a sparkling water as well. Ice chilled sparkling water. If I'm allowed 2 beverages.
Well, thanks for that, Bill.
Alf, can't forget you, mate. Go on.
Well, I didn't really expect to answer this question, but I'm going to go with. I really like just a stock standard sausage sandwich, but like on a crusty bread, maybe some sort of tiger roll. Actually, tiger roll won today in the Cheltenham as well. So yeah, tiger roll, bit of a nice Cumberland on there, bit of ketchup. Has to be buttered though. Hate that
Yeah,
dry roll. For sweet, I'm gonna go profiteroles.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
naughty, Al.
Profiterole.
Naughty.
Yeah, oozing,
Nice.
homemade, obviously.
Yeah.
I'll wash that
Of
down with
course.
a brew, and it has to have the tea bag in it and only a tiny bit of milk because I like it strong. Hate that weak as piss tea.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Right, there's nothing worse than a weak tea.
Yeah, I'm not a tea drinker.
Everything else, though, you've had, Bill.
Yeah. I've bottled me load of every other item you've said. So,
Sammy, right. You've just had a massive win. Can be at Essex, Chelmsford, whatever. Boys are in the sheds. It's 35 degrees. You've just cracked a cold one. You get given the Orcs. What's the first song you're playing?
It's a big question. I like my music, so tough to narrow it down to one. I'd probably go Daft Punk One More Time would be to kick it off just after the sheds would be a nice winning tune to set the night up with. I think that would be my go-to.
That's a crowd pleaser as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Brownie?
I'd go Wet, Wet, Wet. Bit of Good Night Girl. Or
Hold on, mate. You just won a game, mate. You're not serenading your missus. You're not wooing your missus, yeah?
or a bit of Faithless Insomnia.
Girl.
Bill?
Alf?
No, go on, Bill. Give me some time.
Well, I'll tell you what, Alf, we had this song during our cup run when we got to the final of the national or whatever, or the Evening Standard Cup. Remember, I don't know if you boys know the song. I don't even know what it's no, How Bizarre. Driving down the freeway in the hot sun. How bizarre.
That's come up recently. Recently, we've been playing Scatman. You remember Scatman?
Oh, yeah. That's a classic, mate.
That gets the knees going in the shower. It's a bit dangerous, though. You got soap on the floor in the shower. We've had a few go over. Yeah, so Scatman is what I'd be going for.
Yeah.
What else we got here? I've lost it here. Sorry, Sam. Right, if you weren't a cricketer, what would you be?
I'd probably be a DJ, I reckon.
Actually, talk us through the DJing then, because I don't know much about it. Brownie did mention it. I know you like your music, but yeah, any gigs lined up? You want to go back to back?
Well, I've heard you dabble as well, Al. So I'd be interested. I think Will Buttleman's 21st is the only one I've got booked in for the summer. So I'm quite an exclusive. I don't like to play too many events, like to keep it quiet.
Too expensive, man, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, can't afford me. But no, I've been doing it for years, mate. Especially
What's your DJ name?
Well, it's kind of been adapted a little bit. At uni, in our halls of residence, there wasn't a lot of places to put your decks. And the only thing I could find that was at a suitable height was an ironing board. So it kind of became DJ ironing board quite quickly after that.
Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Rolls off the tongue.
I mean, it wouldn't be probably if I was selling myself in Ibiza what I'd go for, but it works. And yeah, obviously going to uni, it's an essential skill, isn't it? Everyone needs a DJ house party every night at uni. So having that as a skill in your armory at uni is a pretty good weapon. But I've done it for years. I love my music.
What setup have you got, Sam, then?
I'm running Pioneer DDJ SX2 at the minute. I can give you a little.
Is that all-in-one controller?
It is an all-in-one. I've got it all set up there now for you.
Can you put USB?
Is it on the ironing board?
It's not on the ironing board now. I've had to. Mrs. would let me put it on the ironing board. So yeah,
we're gonna have to go back then, Sam.
That's her domain, is it?
What music do you do, Sam?
I like my
I'll ignore that, Brownie. All right. We're gonna, in this day and age, yeah, with feminism, I think we'll ignore that.
Tongue in cheek, Bill. Tongue in cheek.
What sort of music is that?
Yeah, like my house music. Mate, to be honest, I'll play any DJing wise. I generally stick to my house music. Also a bit of techno here and there, but I'll listen to and play anything, to be honest, mate. But generally, yeah, some sort of pretty chilled.
Would you take him to the ground? Would you take him to the ground?
took him on an away trip once because Peter Siddle likes his house music as well, and we've been to a couple of gigs together, and we took him on a away trip once, and that was a good laugh. Kept us entertained for 4 days. But the thing is, after a win, you want to get involved. We talked about this, getting them set up. It's not practical, and especially with resident karaoke with Nick Brown, this doesn't really blend into sort of Superman and wet really. So you don't really need a for that, do you? Plug an aux in.
So, talking about Brownie's karaoke, what's your karaoke song of choice, and what was your initiation? Because Brownie did talk us through it once, but I'd like to hear your recollection of it.
Yeah. I think first on the karaoke, I like a bit of Adele. Someone Like You. That's a good go-to.
Tough song. I've done that before. It's a hard song to sing.
Tough song, but
it is. I did it in Portugal. I did.
You've got to own it.
Did you?
You've got to own it.
Yeah, did you?
I think the best one I've seen was Harmy karaoke. We went on a golf trip to Portugal at the end when we won the league, and Harmy was some of the best karaoke I've ever seen. There's still a video flying around somewhere at that, but I don't think that'll ever get out. And then sorry, what was the second part?
The initiation.
Sorry. A big part of sort of becoming an Eagle, really, isn't it, Brown? I think sort of your first pre-season tour, you've got to do a 5-minute show, and a lot of pressure as a youngster really going into that. I think you want to sort of make your mark, and you don't want to just do a rego, sing a song, or do a dance or something like that. I wanted to do something a little bit more different, and I actually just had the Barbados national telly on, and some kid popped up doing a puppet show, and I was like, you know what, I could actually do something of this. So I thought as well, so I ran over the road, and I'm in this like Bayesian supermarket trying to work out what to buy to build puppets of the lads. So I ended up buying some cards and lollipop sticks, and managed to make a few of the lads in characters. But I did the old classic, did Paulie Walters 7 foot high, couldn't even fit over the screen, and I did Wheats the size of a pistachio nut, and just went for it really, and it worked out all right, didn't it? I think the lads enjoyed it, but we've had some good ones over the years. But I think you've just got to try and be a little bit outside the box, haven't you? You don't want to do your bog standard sing a song or whatever. So it's just something a bit different, but I think it went down all right.
So
what did Mohamed Amir do?
He's international, don't have to do it. You're exempt.
No?
Exempt, yeah.
Well, what would you have done, Bill?
Good question, Alf. Good question. I probably wouldn't have turned up, knowing me. Miserable bastard, didn't I?
You wouldn't have got in there because you're just a miserable bastard who never would.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
What about karaoke? Karaoke song.
Something by Oasis all day long. All day long, I would have rocked up in the parka. I would have had the bucket hat on. I would have had the shades on, and I would have fucking smashed it. I would have owned it. Simple as that. Probably going there with Champagne Supernova to start off with, and then go into Slide Away, and then finish off with Rock and Roll Star after a set.
Then straight down the cave.
So Sammy talks about his
PRP.
So Sammy talks about his initiation there, and he came on his first away trip, if you remember it, Sammy. We were away to Scarborough.
Greatest week of my life.
Scarbados. And Sammy was 12th man, but it was your first official away trip. Do you remember this, Sam? Or
I remember it. Remember it being just the greatest week of my life. It was my birthday on would have been the Tuesday or something, and Silvers rang me up saying, "Yeah, you're in the squad. You're coming to Scarborough." And I was a bit obviously knew a little bit about Scarborough as a place. I was like, it's not the most glamorous away trip, but yeah, just absolutely buzzing to be on the bus and doing all this, and didn't quite realise what your first away trip entailed. And Brown might like to elaborate a little bit more on sort of the events of Scarborough, but it was a we won in 2 days, so that was sort of the main catalyst for all that ensued.
It was a bit of a remarkable week. Obviously, Mo Amir turned up and knocked over Yorkshire in 2 days. And Dickie Bird actually organises a quiz between the two teams. So Yorkshire and Essex. And anyway, Anthony McGrath's come up to obviously Sammy and said, look, you're 12th man, you've got to come. Like, you've got to come to this pub. We've got to do a quiz. Like, it's a bit of a charity thing. So he said, oh, Brownie, can you come to the pub? And we're going to do a bit of a charity thing, like just be on our team and whatever, like downplayed it. It's like, oh, there'll be really nice dinner, a couple of beers, and then we'll go home. We think, okay, great. So we've turned up, and it is Yorkshire team versus Essex team on a stage in front of a pub. Bloke's on the mic. He's calling Sam Simon Cook all night. And we're having to answer these questions in front of a pub full of Yorkies.
Rowdy Yorkshiremen.
Abusing us. So, yeah, I had a quiet night and had a couple of beers and watched Glenn, Sammy, end up having a few more than that, didn't you, Sammy?
Well, the kind of, I realised that I was 12th man and I was going to have to deflect a lot of, obviously, Brownie was playing, so couldn't really have a beer. But as 12th man, you actually have had quite a long day at that point, and it sort of the way it goes is at lunchtime you get food for the guys that are playing, and you scrape what you can at the end, basically, as 12th man. So I hadn't eaten an awful lot that day, and then I'm being fed all these sort of beers that the locals are getting for us. So as a youngster as well, I wasn't a great drinker, and quite quickly it descended into trying to answer what is the venue of the Grand National and questions like this. I couldn't even bloody pronounce Aintree, so I was struggling big time up on the stage, and it didn't help with old mate calling me Simon every time I couldn't answer a question. I made a bit of a pig's ear of it, but it was one of those trips brilliant as a youngster, absolutely loved it. But yeah, ended up having one or two too many, and day two was a tough day trying to run the drinks for the boys on day two.
But were you the only 12th man, or was there another one?
There was one other, I think Callum Taylor was there as well, so he took a bit of the fun.
Pointing, out you go, son.
Right royally sticked up, I think.
Was there any yakking, Glenn? Sammy?
Don't know, mate.
Don't know.
I don't know. We'll deny that.
What was Mohammed Amir like on the quiz?
It was just myself. It was 3-on-3, wasn't it, Brad? It was myself.
Oh, was it? I wasn't. I thought you had Del team.
It wasn't the whole team. It was yourself, Brown, and Mags against. It was Liam Plunkett, Andrew Hod. Who trying to think who the third was?
Balance, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, Gary Balance there as well. So yeah, it was a good laugh, and it was actually for charity. And there was enough people in the pub that probably did raise a bit of money. But
Do you remember leaving the pub?
Yeah, ish.
I don't think he does. Alf.
Right, Brownie was on the mineral waters, I take it.
Yeah, I was quiet.
Brownie was driving, and Mags was on the waters, wasn't he?
Yeah.
It sounds
so
like
then,
go on, Brownie, go on.
So
Brownie.
then, amazingly, from that, a couple of years gone past. Obviously, Sammy's obviously a vital part of the team, and he actually took over from me as social secretary, or I actually promoted myself to social chairman, but we'll move on.
CEO.
The CEO, yeah. So he actually took over for me as a team social secretary, which when I took it on, I thought it was pretty easy, and my organisational skills was a WhatsApp message saying, "Boys, meet down the pub at 1 o'clock. We got football on." Glenn, Sammy, took it to a new level. He come out with spreadsheets. It's its own bank accounts. It was ridiculous.
So you still the next person, isn't he?
Just these millennials just took over. And
what was the first night out, Sam, you organised?
I'm trying to think what I took around. Yeah, probably ended up there. Now, I think the first one we did would have been just a pre-season fines, actually. So tour would have been when I took over. So I think it's probably one of the easiest jobs, like you say, Brown. It is a case of just flicking a WhatsApp message, but sometimes you need a little bit more organisation, didn't you? So sort, especially in a dry country like Abu Dhabi, trying to sort out a team fines meeting was a bit of a challenge. But yeah, organising. We're lucky that head coach Mags is chief fines master, so I don't have to do anything on the performing front. So it's just a case of being organised, making sure there's enough beers there, and letting the lads go. But yeah, it was big shoes to fill with Brown. But yeah, it's been a good job.
What about
McGrath's the fines master, so he can be, he can be talking to Brownie and go, look, it's you got to be getting that front foot a bit more into line and that, and you're nicking off a bit too much, and oh yeah, and we have to fine you for that as well. I was gone. Enough.
Mags is cool.
So he's critiquing you, trying to coach you, but also letting you know, sorry mate, that's a fine as well. That's a £10 fine there.
Yeah.
Toes. It keeps you on your toes.
That's a brilliant relationship, isn't it, Bill? Dropping a catch.
Yeah.
Got to work on the high ball. It's a pound in the jar.
Yeah.
Brownie just called you. What do you call him, Brownie?
Glenn.
What are the nicknames then, Sam?
Glenn's sort of stuck, really, isn't it? I don't really know the origins completely of where it came from, but yeah, Glenn's just sort of stuck, really.
No idea where.
Yeah, no idea.
No, they got the. Where's that come from?
Scarborough.
Probably it might have been Scarborough.
Simon
and Glenn.
Simon stuck for a bit. Simon, when I go into Yorkshire, as soon as I cross the border, I become Simon.
Righto, boys. We got. Let's move on to the final part of the show. We got 2 questions. Sam, you probably know how this works. You've listened. We've got a couple of questions from listeners. We can all throw our answers at it, and we can try and work out. We can try and answer them for them. So the first one's from Mark from Twitter. Gents, I've seen a lot of chat around the toss recently, and it's got me thinking. Can you think a better way of doing the toss? So I know in Australia they tried the bat flip, didn't they? Let's go a bit more extravagant than that, or I don't know. Let's go a bit more, maybe rogue. I could start us off if you want, because I've had a think. I
haven't even seen these questions, by the way.
I think what you do is we can either start with a boat race at the start of the game. That would be quite good. Pick your best 5, or you could do 11, whatever. Or
you definitely do that at Chelmer Park.
or another one is a couple of paintball guns, and you get the two most rotund players, like one on each side, and they've got to run across the wicket. You see how many paintballs you can get on each of them, and whoever's got the most paintballs, you win the toss.
Win the toss. Win the toss. Can you imagine? Javagel Srinath at Lords, match referee, doing that, and you ain't got no rotund players playing for England. New Zealand first test. You got maybe Colin de Gronholm, and England are pretty lean, aren't they?
There must be one that's a slightly doughy. We can go back a few years. Let's go Keezy.
Maybe Leach. Maybe Jack Leach.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking 9% body fat.
Or you pick the slowest. It'd take them ages to get across there, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Can you imagine that? Fucking, they got to count all the splatters. England have won the toss.
Be great TV.
What about you boys? Come on. There must be a better way.
I can't fucking compete with that, mate.
I think getting the captains or the coaches involved is a good one. Maybe having a couple of. We talked about maybe at Lords, if it rained and if it was a draw, how we'd settle it. Maybe get the coaches to have a wrestling match in the middle of the outfield. But I reckon you could get some. You've got to be realistic, haven't you? Maybe the captain's having an arm wrestle, so in the middle of the pitch, ready for, and the winner wins. Obviously, the top.
What about getting a fan from each side, right? And they got, I don't know, like they can have a race, have a bowl off, they can joust, they can do what they want. Just some way to get the crowd involved a little bit more.
Well, especially if it's a big toss as well. Can you imagine like how much they put into it? If it's like fucking games in India, or even these 2020s, if you field first, you win the fucking game. If there's a lot on the fucking toss, mate, it's going to be carnage.
You got Billy running 100 meters getting shot with a paintball gun.
Yeah.
You've done it to the fans though. It's gonna end up like Game of Thrones. You're gonna have teams rocking up with man mountains for the pre-match.
He's just in the side. He's in the side for the toss. Goes home.
Walking out.
Brownie,
Who
what?
would Essex throw forward for arm wrestle? He's got it in the locker.
Don't know. Paulie's pretty strong. Chuck the
Like-
S&C. Chuck the S&C
Yeah.
forward.
The who?
Surrey got
Strength
Chris
and conditioning.
Tremlett.
Oh.
Chris Tremlett, yeah.
Fuck, you see the size of him, mate.
He's massive, isn't he?
I just quickly changed to Sunday. I put on our group chat Sky Channel 714. Did you boys put it on?
I've seen
Yeah.
what's on it. I've seen what's on it.
Have you seen it, Sam? I don't
The
know.
England
Some Indian
Legends.
channel.
You're talking about the legends. Yeah.
But I mean, the quality, it was like Channel 5 when it first got released, mate. It was so grainy, I couldn't make half of it out. But so you see the size of Matthew Wagga?
Big boy.
yeah.
Really?
He was-
I'll tell you what, he'd be in trouble with a paintball gun. There you go. Fucking hell.
Brownie, any toss ideas for you? I reckon yours wouldn't be quite as elaborate as that. It'd be more calm, like a card game or something like that.
Yeah, whoever wins cards.
Or a karaoke.
What about some hot sauce or something like that? Who can eat a hot wing the quickest? Be an interesting one.
the scold rating, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, look, there's a few interesting ideas for you. I don't know whether any of them are going to stick, but paintball guns, I reckon, the way forward. Get the biggest bloke and or woman, and yeah, shoot them. The next one is from Richard, again from Twitter. Hey guys, loving the podcast. Cheers, Rich. How do you know that someone's a village cricketer?
Black socks.
Yeah, you
Great.
just know, didn't you? You
Great
just
start.
know, but I'm just trying to think what the criteria is for that now.
Then at
I'm a bit out of the
Southwood-
loop.
At South Woodford, we always used to say, be aware of the bloke in the black shoes. Because I'm telling you, them fellas can whack it. Now, it looks shocking, but I'm telling you, he'll hack you over mid-wicket all day long.
I remember playing against a team once, and the game was meant to start at 1 o'clock, and 1:30. We're like, where are they? We've been warming up for ages. Anyway, this whole team got out the back of a van, but it was the moodiest van. This geezer opened the bowling. He had a red shirt on and jeans, and and the geezer extra cover was in a vest. And we got rolled for about 60 odd, and they knocked it off for
No,
nothing.
I think I got a hat trick. That's the game I got a hat trick.
Village cricket, like it's got to be the shorts. Keep it in short sleeve. I don't care what standard you are. I think the only person that can even slightly get away with it, and I reckon he would call himself village, is Brendan McCullum. I just think it's appalling. You can't ever do it. Brownie did it, but he was accidentally did it. He didn't know he was going to keep. There's loads of things, isn't there? Like
TN hat backwards.
the TN hat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
backwards. While
Yeah.
bowling.
I played a game.
I've seen Ports do it.
I played a game against Basildon, and the opening bowler, he'd cut the sleeves off. It was a hot day, he cut the sleeves off. So he just steamed in with the old pipes.
Do you reckon, actually, forget about the visuals here. What about on the pitch? So walking in with a bowler, that's got to be village chat, isn't it?
Yeah. Clap the batsman in.
Clap the-
They'll do that.
Is that more kids cricket?
I've seen people do it still. Clap them in. Shocking. Shocking. 40 years old. What are you doing?
Yeah, some teams, they make a thing of it, don't they? Like the
Yeah.
batsman leads it off.
Yeah.
Batsman in, boys. Batsman in. Batsman in. And you got to give it a little whistle. I'll walk off. I'll walk off if they did that to me.
What, Bill, you must be full of this village shit. There's loads of it, isn't there?
I'm well out of the loop now, mate. So I haven't played for like 8 years now. I'm just trying to remember why I used to.
Yeah, that's one. Running out your run up.
Oh yeah. Like just picking a random
How
spot,
hard
just
is it?
fucking steaming in.
How hard is it? Like even like at drinks or something, just run your mark out and then pace it out. Why? How? Why do you
Yeah.
have to do that?
Yeah.
They use tape measures these days, Bill.
Yeah, and I don't understand the old when they do mark it out when you put like 1 foot right in front of the other, like doing them small steps. It's like it's just one step in it. Like what? Why? Like why? It's the same distance whether you measure it out in paces or there's some stupid little steps. I'm not a bowler. Well, I don't bowl anymore. I used to be a bowler, but I don't bowl anymore.
How'd you
mark your run up out, Bill? Actually, I'll be intrigued for that.
I just went by the 30-yard circle. It was always a 30-yard run up. So do the 30-yard circle, mate.
Sammy, before you used a tape measure, were you one to do the little steps that Billy's talking about?
I still use the steps now. I've never used the tape measure. It's probably the guys at county cricket think I'm a bit village, just pacing it out. But I've always found it that if I've done it with a tape measure, whether it's going slightly uphill, you seem to just stride it over, and it's just always worked for me. So they probably think I'm a bit village doing it, but yeah, that's how I still do mine today.
And Brownie, I feel like I've seen you run it out. I don't know why, but
No, I pace it out.
do you do the little steps?
Sorry, Brownie. I forgot you're a pro.
Pace it out.
Brownie's taken first class scalps, haven't you? Or have you?
No,
I'm still waiting, mate.
Yeah.
No, we said that. He's bowled 50 overs and not taking a wicket.
Got
By the way, Brownie, I checked out your stats as well. Sam's only 9 sixes behind you, mate.
Yeah. Here's a question for you.
Oh, change the subject, Brownie. Can't.
Yeah, like that one,
On the same subject. Who's hit more first class sixes, me or Tom Wesley?
Well, you've hit 11.
Yeah.
So you?
Check up how many he's hit.
Will you tell
I
us?
can't, mate. This is my phone. Go on.
10.
Oh, well done, mate.
Well done, mate.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
You demolished him there, Brownie.
I demolished him.
Well done. Well done, Chris Gale.
Yeah. That's right.
How many first class poles has he got compared to you?
All right, we're not going to go there. We're talking about sixes.
Well done, Brownie. Well done, mate.
Power hitter.
On that, do you always remember your first class run? Do you remember?
Yes. It wasn't very good.
Yeah, talk us through it then, Sam.
Oh yeah, no.
Chris cover drive for 3, I think. I think it was off Ben Code. I must just like hitting Ben Code because I was scoring.
Hey, he's retired as well, that geezer.
Was it a good
I'll ask him, Sam. I think he's in your pocket. Let him out have a drink.
So Sam's it. Talk us through it then. He's running. He's obviously bent his back. Was it on the up?
No, he's come in. He's down the hill at Chelmsford, I remember, the last game of the season. And yeah, just lent on one through the covers. It's quite nice. Yeah, just lent on it, timed it nice.
Was it
run?
Through extra cover. He didn't have many people on the offside, let's put it that way. There were most of them behind square. So I had quite a lot of room to get it through. But yeah, just lent on it out towards the old Tom Pearce.
And then what's your like sort of way of calling? Are you yep or yeah run or free?
Yeah,
two?
come one. Yeah,
come one, yeah. What about waiting? Are you waiting or wait there, wait on?
You don't need to wait. A big call of wait there.
Waiting there. Not now.
Wait on.
I see. That's a village call.
What?
That's a village call. When you hit it to cover, wait there. Not now. Well, no, he's got it in his hand. Why do people do that? Not now. No, not now.
Steve Smith does that when it goes to the keeper.
Yeah.
What about you, Brownie?
Village, isn't he?
First class run, first one.
I got a straight drive for 3.
Oh,
and then I next ball I faced, I left an in-swinger that hit me on the pads. Donk. You're out.
Where was that?
That was at Worcester.
Parents come up and watching everything.
Yeah, everyone was there. Alf, yeah, it was a real proud day.
Your brothers were in the bar, weren't they?
Yeah, everyone's there. Probably 11:10. And then I've strode out, already out, back, done.
Second
yeah,
innings?
it was sad.
Second innings?
I think I only batted once because of the rain. But yeah, it was a great day, but a sad day as well, Alf.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I've actually just had a fault again. We spoke about the lunatic that is Tino Best, didn't we, last week?
Oh, that was at Chelmsford as well, wasn't it?
That was against Chelmsford, wasn't it? Yeah.
And I thought actually
Yeah.
he did play against Chelmsford, didn't he? And you've
What
also
happened?
had a bit of a run-in with him as well, Sammy.
Yeah, not personally, but touching a bit on the uni stuff. We went on a uni tour to Barbados. You can imagine now that descended into just the greatest trip of all time. But we rocked up to play against his club side out there, and someone mentioned that it was his club side, and he rocked up in like his gold Range Rover and was rocking up to play. And all the youth boys were like, "Oh my god, it's Tino Best." Shit, like we've all been on the beers for like the last 2 days. We've actually got to play against someone who bowls quick. Anyway, he rocked up, and I think he bowled the first couple of overs off his full run, and then he walked in off 5 paces for the rest of it and didn't really say it. But the whole time he's laying into these uni lads like, "You're shit, you're this like terrible, never gonna make it, blah de blah." And we had quite a good bunch of blokes here at uni, and wouldn't really have bit back. But he came out to bat, and one of the lads, it was just, there's always that one bloke in the team that just has to say something. He was a popular, lovely guy, lovely guy, Rich, and he tried. He was an older student. He was like 4 or 5 years. He'd been trying to get onto the scheme, worked really hard, and he got into the team. And it was his first game, and he decided to give Tino a bit. So given Tino a bit whilst he was bowling, and then.
Sorry, had Tino already bowled? Tino's done. He's not bowling anymore.
Tino's done.
I would have been all over him.
That's it.
Coward.
I've got away with it here. And anyway, Tino's batting, and a wicket's gone down or drinks have run out, and we're in the team huddle and we're having a bit of a chat. And Tino comes striding over to the huddle still whilst he's batting. We're like, bloody hell, what's going on here? And he just stands in the huddle and looks at Rich and goes, "You mate, your parent," like he was like, I won't try and do the accent, but he was
Love
like,
to do the accent.
Gotta do the accent.
your parents must be really proud of you. Like Loughborough's a really prestigious university. He says, you go back there and work hard, and you become a good dentist, because cricket, mate, it ain't gonna work out for you.
To be fair, it didn't fucking work out for Tino Best either.
But he
has got a gold Range Rover. So.
He then just strode like got out. He batted 2 or 3, strode out, got in his car, drove off, and that was his day. But yeah, it was a good story to tell from the boys.
He didn't pay his fiver, did he?
Well, it didn't look like that, did it?
I tell you, he must have had to park his Range Rover behind the sight screen, mate, because you don't want the sun gleaming off that when you're trying to bat.
Boys, Sam, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. We wish you the very best of luck for the season. Brownie, we're going to see you again next week. We'll try and get some more guests. Who'd you say we're going to get on next week, Brownie? We didn't.
I didn't know, but we'll see how we go.
We'll work on someone.
Should we get my hat-trick victim on? We'll get Thrifty and see if we can get Phil out.
Let's get Thrifty and Phil on.
That's it, reunion.
Sam, it's been an absolute
nice one, boys.
Thank you for doing that, boys.
Thanks, Sam.
We'll speak to you all soon. Thank you very much.
See you later.
Cheers, boys.